Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Well, Southern Cross Aged Care is in hot water again with claims there was no nurse on the floor last night at its Yurandu facility. The health union's also alleging residents went without medications, but the organisation has strongly denied any wrongdoing.
Just days after being wrapped up in a racism controversy, the inner workings of this Northwest aged care home are back in the spotlight.
Last night on night shift, we had a horrific situation at Yurandu in Somerset where there was no nurse on the premises. For this 8-hour period, it meant that residents were not able to get medication.
An alleged power outage also causing uproar within the health union.
There were residents that had oxygen machines and we didn't have a nurse there to clinically see that the situation was okay. It was a very dangerous situation.
Southern Cross Care has rubbished the claims, denying an electricity outage, while stating there was a registered nurse on call last night who didn't receive any calls, noting all medications were administered to residents.
Workers that I've spoken to in the last 12 hours have been distraught. They work in aged care not because of the money, they work because they care for the residents.
The Premier says he will investigate the issues that have been raised, calling on all facilities to make their number one priority the support and care of aged care residents.
I expect nothing less than the best gold standard care, particularly here in Tasmania, notwithstanding the fact that aged care is a federal government responsibility.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A pedestrian has been taken to the Launceston General Hospital after being struck by a vehicle at Newstead this afternoon. Emergency services were called to the scene on Abbott Street about 4 p.m. Police are investigating. Meanwhile, 2 people were flown to hospital after a crash at Mood Food at Kempton just before 3 p.m. They remain in a serious condition at the Royal Hobart Hospital. And traffic on the East Tamar Highway was brought to a standstill this afternoon after a log truck lost its load, impacting the eastbound lane. No serious injuries were reported in that incident. Pressure is building on Tasmania's housing wait list, with recent data revealing a spike in the number of women with a disability needing support. Wendy Cherry is among nearly 900 Tasmanian women in that bracket, a figure which has nearly doubled in 4 years. She says her time with NDIS caseworkers is chewed up looking for a home rather than focusing on her disability needs.
They ring up, the right letters, everything at the moment. They just want me to have a house to be safe with my son.
The state government says 10,000 affordable homes are in the pipeline over the next 10 years through its new body, Homes Tasmania. Meanwhile, rising interest rates are squeezing affordable rentals even more. Anglicare Tasmania, which helps vulnerable people find properties, says landlords kicking up rent is only part of the problem.
We're also seeing some property owners taking the opportunity to actually sell their properties. So people that may have been in a long-term rental for many, many years, up to 20 years, may not even know the system. So they come in and again work with our private rental market workers to actually understand the system.
Anglicare's Housing Connect program will remain open 24/7 over the Christmas period for those needing emergency accommodation. Some of Tasmania's oldest heritage sites are being given a modern makeover due to an innovative tourism project. Federal regional relief funding has helped bring the experiences of Northern Midlands convicts off the pages of history books and into life.
Modern technology making it easier to meet faces from our past.
The name's Billy Bracer. I was sent here for picking pockets.
Transported to Tasmania, the blacksmith was forced to walk 9 days from Hobart to Brickenden before starting work. The story of convicts like Billy and many others is now being told in high definition in the places they worked long ago.
We need to bring those stories to life. That's part of our history, it's part of our heritage.
Project Reassign is aiming to connect heritage sites in the Northern Midlands. The name coming from the practice of assigning convicts to different properties.
Critical to the success of reassign is to actually look at it as precinct thinking, which is a term in tourism where you don't just look at one single property, is that you look at the areas.
Visitors are able to scan a QR code to access the region's colonial history in popular spots like Brickenden, Woolmers and Clarendon.
It brings to life this built heritage in a very contemporary way. It means visitors can come in and through technology bring to life what actually happened here.
It's not just about bringing our colonial history out of the dark. Reassign will also shine a light on how Tasmanian Aboriginals interacted with the landscape for thousands of years.
To see it actually happening now, and of course with all the digital technology that we've got now, it is really, really real.
With a real chance of luring more history buffs to the Northern Midlands. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Construction has begun on the second of 2 ships set to replace the Spirit of Tasmania. The first steel was cut for the vessel at a formal ceremony in Finland last night.
During the following less than 24 months, we are going to turn this steel piece, together with many other components pieces, into a beautiful ship.
The purpose-built ferries are due for delivery in 2024. The Tasmanians have revealed the dangerous reality of drink driving. It's all part of a joint venture by the RACT and the Taste of Summer, who are hoping to warn revellers from getting behind the wheel under the influence throughout the festivities.
It doesn't take too many drinks for you to become impaired as a driver. You lose your concentration, your motor skills are diminished, and it often increases riskier behaviour as well.
We've seen some tragic outcomes, we've seen some silly things done, and we just want to try and avoid those things where at all possible.
They're urging locals and interstate visitors to plan ahead and ensure they don't take the risk. A new social media campaign is targeting young Tasmanians to reinforce the strength and dangers of UV this summer. The Cancer Council is urging locals to be prepared before heading out into the sunshine, with a reminder to slap on sunscreen and wear a hat.
You can't see UV, you can't feel it, so it's really important we get those messages out to young people so that they can develop a lifelong habit and avoid skin cancer in the future.
The organisation has also recommended downloading the SunSmart app as a safe way to track UV levels in your immediate area. 20 Tasmanian teenagers have returned from the trip of a lifetime. The Windward-bound tall ship docked at Hobart's Waterman's Dock today after a 10-day journey through Tasmanian waters. Organised by Rotary Tasmania, the Youth Leadership Challenge also included 6 participants with refugee backgrounds who recently moved to the state. A cultural rite of passage known to northern Tasmanians as the Blocky Route is now being broadcast to the world. Extra funding has made it possible for 2 local filmmakers to profile the social phenomenon with a special festive focus for this time of year.
Merry Christmas!
Yes, Beat Up Arena is the Santa sleigh of choice to the Blocky Route's disciples.
Ho, 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 it's me, Santa's special helper.
And Route regular Dylan Hesp, who plays Taylor in the show, wouldn't have it any other way.
The Blocky Route for me is the most special place in my life.
Which is why he guards it like an angel, looking down on this unique social glue. For Christmas, his job goes a step further, delivering gifts around the Blocky Route as part of his online show, Australia's Best Street Racer, in his festive hatchback.
It's now completely surrounded in Christmas lights. It is illegal, so if the police are watching, I'm really sorry about that.
The comedy series has been turbocharged with extra funding to support local filmmakers, and the tongue-in-cheek take on the route is garnering global fans.
It is iconically Launceston, but the themes are kind of global in nature. And so we've actually found that our audience online is only 50% Australian. So we've got a huge fan base in America, in the UK.
And the good news is, if you've got a really cool car like me with rear spoiler and 6-stacker CD as standard, you too can be part of the club.
We love anything Holden, especially if the car was made in this country.
But you can't beat the Barina for that festive feel. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News. Hurricanes big hitter Tim David has mixed reviews of his opening to the Big Bash season. He managed an unbeaten 46 in Launceston on Monday night, including a huge 6 into the stands, but he's hoping to produce a mega score at the SCG tomorrow night.
It's kind of mixed. I'm pleased to put in a contribution for the team. It's been a little bit tough, the pitches, the 2 pitches we've had so far for power hitting and trying to hit sixes.
The side flew out to Sydney this afternoon to take on the Sixers, and you can catch the game live on 7 Tasmania tomorrow night. A hat-trick from Hobart Hurricane star Heather Graham helped the Aussie women's team win the final match of their T20 series in India by 54 runs. Graham picked up the first 2 wickets with the last 2 balls of her first over, but had to wait another 6 overs for her hat-trick ball.
She gets it! Cleans it up! Renuka Singh looking to play on the back foot, misses the ball completely.
Graham's just the second Aussie woman to claim a T20 hat-trick. She ended up with 4 for 8. The Tourists won the 5-match series 4-1. Emma Mannix-Jeeves has top scored for the Tigers in their thumping of New South Wales overnight. She knocked an unbeaten 76 to help Tasmania win by 7 wickets with more than 12 overs to spare. Naomi Stalenberg also had her eye in.
And there we go into the air. That's a great shot over the rope for 6.
She went on to reach a half-century. They'll face Queensland on January 4. The Jack Jumpers are looking to bounce back strongly and increase their work rate at home after suffering 2 consecutive losses in the NBL. The Tasmanians are set to take on bottom-of-the-table Illawarra Hawks tomorrow night under lights at MyState Bank Arena, with confidence among the group to get back on the winners list.
We know we've got the character in the room to fix these kind of things. I know they sound basic, but some teams can't fix that stuff. For us to sit there this morning, multiple guys to take accountability for their actions, and we look forward to tomorrow, hopefully getting out on the floor.
And they'll need plenty of energy in the stands from Ants fans stepping out for their 3rd game in just 6 days.
Good evening. Hobart warmed up to 20 today, bit of an improvement on recent numbers. Launceston 21, Burnie and Devonport 19 degrees. Bushy Park topped out at 24. It was 23 in Strawn, Grove, Friendly Beaches and Smithton 20, King Island 19, Flinders Island and St Helens 18 degrees. Some low-level cover over the north with patchy high cloud moving over from the northwest today. Cloud gathered over the tropical north of the nation, more over eastern and South Australia and western Victoria. Tomorrow the high shifts to the east, another high as well to the west as troughs continue over the mainland. The winds northeast-southeast at 15 to 25 knots over northern waters, variable winds over the west coast and lighter winds inland. Hobart, 23 tomorrow and partly cloudy, a shower on the way for Cygnet. Later in the day, 23 before that and 25 the high for New Norfolk. Cloudy in the north, Launceston 23, 20 the top for Devonport, Campbelltown, a maximum of 22 degrees, 18 for Burnie, cloudy for Strawn, 21, 21 also for Smithton, St Helens tomorrow a high of 19, partly cloudy for Swansea, 21 the top and 20 for Fingal. UV peaking at an extreme 11 tomorrow. On Friday, a mostly cloudy day with a few scattered showers. A fine day on Saturday, still fairly cloudy, maybe a shower over Strawn, and on Christmas Day a fine mostly sunny day for the celebrations, just a possible shower over Strawn again. Further north, sunny in Perth and 36, fine in Adelaide, a possible storm for Darwin, showers developing in Canberra and Sydney, okay in Brisbane and 28 there. 18 degrees right now in Hobart and partly cloudy, 19 right now in Launceston. Getting your disease, Kim. Partly cloudy in Devonport and 16 degrees. I'll leave it there. Be back tomorrow night with what looks like a pretty good forecast for the Christmas break. Oh.
Have you been on a long lunch again, Murph? That is all your always catching. That is all your news for now. We need a Christmas break. Thanks for being part of the show tonight. Good night.